For a while, I thought I was burnt out, tired, no energy, running on empty. But I wasn't burnt out. It was the drift. There was this amazing buzzword going around about the time I was having my drift, which I didn't know was the drift. And it was called burnout. And there was no way I was ever going to admit I was burnt out. I'm one of those stubborn business owners. But as I leant into my drift and tried to figure out what was actually wrong with me, I kind of admitted once that maybe I'm burnt out. So when you're burnt out, what do? You take some time off. But I wasn't burnt out when it came to my exercise. I wasn't burnt out to, just general day-to-day things in life. But when I came back to my business, I had that same feeling. Yeah. Despite having a little bit of a rest. And I came to tell myself that if I'd been burnt out and I had a rest and came back, shouldn't I be refreshed? And I wasn't. That is when I figured out that this was not the burnout. I'm a guy, like many of you guys, who gives 100%, who puts my all into everything. And there came a stage in my business where when it came to actually doing the things which I needed to do, I'd be motivated, I'd be excited, I'd be ready to give my all. But when I actually got to do it, it felt empty. It felt nothing. It felt I lacked so much motivation and so much energy towards what I was doing. And even though I was probably performing at 50% of my best, I was probably still performing a lot better than some people, but it wasn't me. Yeah, if I do something, it's got to be 100%. And no matter how many times I try to push through this brick wall, I would still end up with the same empty feelings. So this is why I thought I was burnt out when I wasn't burnt out. I was misaligned. I'd outgrown what I'd done. And I remember my mum saying something to my now wife many years ago that Scott always likes a challenge. And I always had that saying in the back of my head because I do always like a challenge. And this business was not challenging me anymore. And that was the problem. I felt unchallenged. I felt uninspired. And when you're uninspired and unchallenged, that is when those empty feelings come away, like I don't belong here anymore. And it took me a while to work this out. But when I worked it out and identified it, that's when I could start to fix it. But it took a very long time because I've been doing this business for 15 years. It was my identity. But I'd outgrown. I was ready for a new challenge. I'm ready to challenge myself. And what my message to you guys is, if you're having the same feelings maybe in your job or maybe in your business, life's too short not to give yourself the test and achieving your full potential. And don't hold yourself back. Don't waste your life. As I always say, we born with a birthday and we have a death day, and it's what we do in between what counts. So if you are living a life which, you have a great job or you have a great business, but you're unfulfilled, you're not aligned, then maybe it's time to look at your chapter 2. Maybe it's something to find something which you are aligned with. Because I tried to find out all the answers. Yeah, because I didn't actually know that it was this drift. Now I've identified it. Yeah, I'm helping other people identify their drift and recover from their drift. But I did not know about this drift. And that's what it was. Yeah, as a person, I'd outgrown that business owner who started in that business 15 years ago. Life had got in the way. I'd given my all to something, and it was now unaligned with me, and it didn't challenge me. And I was ready for a new challenge. And it's amazing when you take part in that new challenge, when you get ready for that new challenge, when you push forward that new challenge, all these feelings of emptiness, they go away. It really is that simple. And that's something I've learned since I've been identifying my drift and helping other people with their drift. So guys, what I'm saying is, if you do have these feelings, yeah, maybe it's time to look for a new challenge. I'm not saying quit your job or, quit your business, but maybe look for something outside of your job or your business, maybe to generate income. If that's what you're interested in, you want to build something for the future, but find something which gives you that feeling of you're alive. Because that's why I felt dead. Yeah, I felt like a walking dead man. But now I feel alive, and it's important as human beings, as men, we feel alive in what we're doing. So if you think you've been burnt out and you've taken a bit of time out and you've come back and you've still got the same feelings, the same energy towards what you're doing, there's a high probability that it's not burnout. There's a high probability that you're unchallenged. There's a high probability that you're uninspired. And you can fix that. And when you do fix that, the energetic feeling and feeling alive feeling, it comes right back to you. If anything resonated with you on this this video, please put a comment in the comment box below. I'm Scott Watson. This is The Drift. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.